My Lola's horror stories. When I was a kid, we didn't have a TV. Hell, there was even a time when we didn't have electricity at all. So when the nights grew long and dark, and there was nothing to do but sit around, my Lola would gather us kids around her and tell us stories. But not just any stories. Horror stories. My Lola had a way of telling stories that made them feel so real. They were more than just tales. They were warnings. One of the first stories I remember her telling was about a little girl who got possessed by an evil spirit. The girl started doing strange things, eating mud and calling it nubak, like it was some kind of delicacy. She'd wear bracelets and necklaces made of grass, but she'd tell people they were gold and silver. She acted so convincing that the village believed her. But Lola wasn't fooled. She'd always tell us, "Don't wander off into the woods, especially the Sukalan. That's where evil spirits wait for the unsuspecting." And I can tell you, after hearing that story, I never once thought about venturing too far into the forest, even during the day. But the story that really stuck with me, the one that haunted me for years, was about the tuk-tuk. This creature would come for pregnant women like my Lola. At night, while she was carrying my aunt, and Uwak, a raven, would sit on top of their roof, but it didn't make the usual uwak-uwak sound. Instead, it would say padu, putol suso, putol suso. Imagine hearing that at night. Cut off breast. That was the signal that the tuk-tuk was near. The tuk-tuk wasn't just a bird. It was a monster with a long snake-like tongue that it would send through the roof to puncture the bellies of pregnant women and suck the baby out. But my grandfather was ready. He grabbed his bolo, ran outside, and slashed the ground with it while shouting at the creature. The tuk-tuk hissed, and just like that, it was gone. Never came back. Lola wasn't just scared of tuk-tuks. Oh no. She'd seen more monsters than I could count. Tikbalangs, kapras, mananangals, you name it. And she knew how to deal with them. The tikbalang, for example, was a trickster. A creature that would take the form of a regular person in the woods. If you weren't careful, it could follow you home and haunt you in your dreams. Lola taught us how to spot a tikbalang. If you meet someone in the woods and they sit down to rest, watch how they sit. If their knees are higher than their head, you've got a tikbalang. But here's the trick. You don't run. No. You look it in the eyes and say, "I know what you are. Leave me alone." And it'll go away. But even then, there was something else to worry about. If you ever found yourself haunted by a tikbalang, especially in your dreams, there was only one solution. Lola would always tell us, "Babaan mo yang unan mo at baka masipa ka ng tikbalang." It means, lower your pillow or the tikbalang might slap you in your sleep. It's a small thing, right? But after hearing those stories, you'd be surprised how many times I actually lowered my pillow, just in case. I think about Lola often. She passed away a few years ago, but her stories are still with me. Whenever I walk through the woods or hear a bird call in the distance, I remember her voice, the way she'd warn us, "Be careful. There's more to this world than you know." So, I have to ask, do you believe in these creatures? The tikbalang, the kapre, the manananggal? Or are they just old stories we tell to keep kids close to home at night? Maybe they're just stories. Or maybe there's something more. Something lurking in the woods, just waiting to be noticed. If you want to hear more stories or share your own, subscribe to the channel. And who knows? Maybe I'll tell you about the time I came face to face with something I couldn't explain.